Hey guys, today I'm filming my first update for my Pan 20 in 2020 project pan. This is a panning project series. I've been doing it on my channel for several years now. I've just changed the title of it based on the different trendy titles for these type of projects, but it's the same old thing I've been doing forever. So basically at the beginning of the year, I choose a set group of products that I would like to hit a certain goal on, usually hitting pan or finishing up. And then I would like to finish up an additional 50 makeup products. I actually had filmed my intro in December, but I posted it later in the year. And the reason I did that is because some of these items that I wanted to use for 2020, I started using in my winter project pan, which I always start in December. So there will be 3 months of progress on some of these items, and then in all future updates you're just going to see 2 months worth of progress. So that's why it might look like there's more progress in this update compared to what you might see in future updates. So let's just start by talking about my 20 in 2020 items. So this is like a 99% makeup project pan, but I did want to try to finish up some perfumes this year. So if you saw my intro, I mentioned that I wanted to pan a 3.4 fluid ounce bottle of Ralph Lauren Midnight Romance, and as I started using it, I decided that I am no longer in love with this perfume and I don't like it enough to use it up. So I decided to pass that on to a friend, but I did want to use up the travel size of that perfume, and this is where I was at my intro, and it is completely used up. So I do feel really happy about that. This is a scent that, like I said, I used to love. I don't any longer. I will have the scent notes in the description box, and I planned on using this winter and fall, but I got through it just within the 3 months I count for winter, so that is exciting, and it made me want to add in a couple more perfumes. So this one is all used up, yay. And then at the end of my intro, which was filmed like 3.5 weeks after the first part of my intro, I had added in Marc Jacobs Daisy. This is my Rollerball. I wanted to use this spring and summer. Now I'm just challenging myself to use this up in spring. And again, the 3 months that I count for spring would be March, April, May. So the first line is where I was starting at in the intro, and this second line is where I am now. And I almost didn't even mark it, but there is a little bit of progress there, and this is something I've only been using for the past week, and I've been going back and forth between this and then some perfume samples, but I definitely do think it's possible for me to finish this off by the end of spring. This is something that I like. You guys know I used this up last year. I'm not obsessed with it, but I would like to use this up and then repurchase it in like a Scentbird size. I would like a spray of it because it's something I do still like, but I don't love enough to have a full size. But anyway, that is where I am now, and I do think it is possible for me to finish this by the end of spring. So I decided that means I need to add in a perfume for summer and fall. So I'm going to be doing another Rollerball, and this is a dual-ended Rollerball. And the one I'm going to be using for summer is something that I also panned last year. This is the Juicy Couture Viva La Juicy Original. So I am starting out right here. And as you guys can tell, these are like half the size of a regular Rollerball, so I should be able to get through this one pretty quickly. Then on the other side is going to be my fall perfume. This is a Viva La Juicy Noir, and I am at the very top of the sticker. I can't see any progress on this one at all, but this is a scent that I really love as well. And like I said, I really just don't enjoy Rollerballs. I am someone where my body rejects fragrance, so I need to put perfume on my skin as well as on my clothes, and I'm not going to roll a Rollerball on my clothes. But both of these perfumes you can buy from Scentbird, and I would much rather have a little spray version, which is why I would like to get these used up. So now I have a perfume for each season, and I totally think it is doable, and I'm really, really excited to work through these perfumes. Then for makeup, there are 5 makeup use up products that I have finished. The first is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This is the travel size. You get 1 fluid ounce in here. I did use this as a primer spray in my winter project pan. This is very simple for me. It doesn't really do a ton. This is not something that I would purchase, but I will continue to use up any that I get as free gifts because it's something I can use up easily, but I really just don't notice a difference with it, but I'm happy to have it used up. Then I used up the travel size of the Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Mist. This also has 1 fluid ounce in it. This does have a nice scent, and it's like a light coconutty scent, but subtle, because I don't really love coconut scents. And this does have a nice fine mist. This is more of like a hydrating, dewy spray. It's fine, but it's not something that I love for my skin type. This is not something that I would repurchase. Then I did use up 2 concealers, and I had been using these for 1 or 2 months before I put them in this project, so I knew they would get used up eventually. And I used them in a combo because of the shade. So the main concealer was the number 7 Lift and Luminate Serum Concealer. I have the fair shade. I had actually gotten this for free to review from Pinch Me Box, and this is a really nice product. So I did take out the stopper and get out as much product as possible. I really scraped this sucker, and I actually really like this concealer. This does give a nice medium coverage. It has more of a natural finish. It looks really, really beautiful, and this is something that I would consider repurchasing, but it's just a little too dark for me. But sometimes I'm wanting something that like gives good coverage, but it's not so heavy or so matte under the eye, and this is a really, really good product, so I definitely do recommend that. And I mixed it with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer in the shade Pale, and you do not get very much product in these NYX concealers, so you get 8 mils in the number 7, and you get 3.5 mils in the NYX. But I did use them up around the same time because I was just using this as a mixer, so I would just like triangle apply this under my eye, and then I would take the NYX and do like 3 little dots under each eye to help brighten it but not apply too much. I did take the stopper out of this one as well. This is a heavier concealer. It does have more of like a matte finish. This does give nice coverage though. I do not like the HD concealers from NYX. I think that they don't have much coverage. They extremely oxidize on me. So this is a better concealer, but I only use it as a brightener because it was too pale for me. They do come in a lot of different shades, so I think this could be a fine product, but I have other concealers that I prefer, and I would rather try out something that's a holy grail to me or something new, so I would not repurchase this one. And the last thing I finished up for my Pan 20 in 2020 would be my Mally Shadow Stick Extra in Autumn Shimmer. I was right here at the intro, and it is completely used up. I even scraped out all of the product, and once I got to that point, I mushed it in a little sample jar and applied it with a brush. And I really like this color. I think it's very pretty. It's like a bronzy taupey purple color, really unique, and it's a very, very pretty shade, but I did not like this formula. Now it is pretty pigmented, but because it's such a dry formula, you do have to layer it up a little bit. You do have to go over your eyes several times to get it fully coated. When I did get to the point where I was able to mush it in that sample jar, it was so much creamier and easier to use, and I ended up liking it a lot more. My packaging is cracked a little bit, so that could possibly have added to the fact that it was dried out, but I will say from the beginning I wasn't that impressed with the formula of this shadow stick. I much prefer the shadow sticks from the Balm and Laura Mercier, so this is not one I would repurchase, but I do feel super accomplished to have finished this up. So now moving on to the rest of the 20 and 2020 products. I don't have progress on everything because there are some things I haven't used at all yet that I'm saving to wear in a particular season. I'm just going to show you all the products anyway, but I'll just kind of breeze over the things that I have not used. Starting with primers, the first one is the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. This is something I've been using to fill and blur my pores, and this is a product that pumps up from the bottom. So this is where I was at my intro. Here is where I am now. So that is all the progress I made in 3 months, which is pretty dang good. And this is all I have left. So I might not have this finished up by my next update, but I should have this finished up by the end of May, which would be fantastic because I do have some other pore filling primers I would like to use up this year. So making a very steady progress. I'm feeling really happy about that. Then I've got my two full-size all-over primers. This first one is the Touch and Soul No Pore Blem Primer. Here's where I was at my intro, and it looks like I'm at the same place, but I have used this a couple times, but if you guys can tell, like the lines all over the place because this product doesn't really settle. I might try to take a spatula and like mush it down to get a better idea of where I'm at, but this is something I've just kind of been using here and there. I have decided to pan other primers in my winter and my spring project pan, so we'll see how far I get with the two of these and what I can get used up, but it is what it is. So I've used it a handful of times, but I'm not able to see any progress. The third primer I have is the CoverFx Mattifying Primer. I started out right here, so I do still have about 3/4 of the primer left. I haven't used this at all. This is something I plan on using in the summertime this year, and again, we'll hopefully get some good progress in those. I'll definitely finish this one, but I am feeling a little nervous about these, but we'll see how it goes. For foundation, I have 5. So at my intro, there was 4 I added in the beginning and then 1 I added at the end, and I'll show you that one first. This is the one where I noticed the expiration date of May 2020. So I decided to put this into my spring project pan. I was trying to watch back my intro video, and I want to say that maybe I was like right here. I'm not quite sure. I need to watch it again and mark it, but I want to say I was about at the top of the CC, and now I'm down here. So this is my marking of where I added it into my spring project pan, and I had been using it for a couple weeks before that just to see if I liked it and tried out some different combination of products so I could come up with my face routine for the spring. So this is something I want to finish completely. I would like to finish this again by the end of May, and I do think it is possible if I stick to using this every single day. I definitely want to use it up before it goes bad. So with this foundation, it is a little bit too dark for me, so I am mixing it with my ColourPop No Filter Foundation in Fair 15. I am using 1 pump of each, but the ColourPop, it's not like a full pump. This pump is not awesome, but I do want more of this than this anyway, because this is just supposed to help adjust the shade, and this isn't that dark for me. So it's working perfectly right now. So I am still at where I was at my intro. I don't have a ton of product left, but this is something I would also like to finish up by the end of May. So I did get actually some use out of my Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I was panning my Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation, just like a deluxe sample of that one, in my winter project pan, and it was a little bit pale for me, so I added this in, which was a little dark, and I was able to make some visible progress, which is awesome. I am feeling really happy about that, and I do really enjoy this foundation. And my last 2 foundations I have no progress on because I have not used them at all. That would be my Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation in Light 43 Warm, starting right here, and the Hard Cane and Glamoflague Foundation in Porcelain, which is a great mixer for me, and I'm starting out right here. So no progress on these. For concealers, I have 2 left in this project, and I was gonna start trying to pan these, and maybe it's just with this foundation, but I thought it looked terrible, very heavy, cakey. I didn't like it at all, and I don't feel that way about Tarte Shape Tape, so I don't know. I put these to the side for now. I'm going to pan something else for spring, and then I'll come back to these and see what I think. So that would be the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer in Light Sand, which is a little dark, so I mix it with the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in Fair 00, which is a pure white shade. I've used one of these up before. I do really like it. I just do not know how I'm feeling about this concealer, and especially when I took this down the center of my face to brighten, it looked heavy and cakey. So again, it might just be that it doesn't mix well with the matte CC cream. I'll try it with some other things, but I've only used them like 5 times so far. No progress, and I'm feeling a little nervous about it. Then we've got my 3 powders, and these are all powder foundations. I told you guys I mostly wanted to use up the first 2, and if I was successful in that, then I would move on to the third one. So the first powder is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder. I have the shade 102 Fair Porcelain, and as you can see, I do have pan on this, which is really exciting. I have been using this every day to help brighten under my eyes and down the center of my face. This is too pale for me to apply all over, but it is working nice as a brightener, so I'm going to continue using this one in that way. Then we've got the CoverFx Pressed Mineral Foundation in the shade in 10. I've used this like once or twice, so I do not have any progress on this one. And the third powder is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin in the shade 10 Porcelain. I have not used this one yet at all, so feeling a little nervous about my powders. I mean, I've been using my loose powders every day and I just love them so much. I think I'm going to use up a lot of them, but I need to make myself use these pressed powders. Next, we have bronzers. The first one was Benefit Hoola. I was using this in my winter project pan, and I did not take a picture of my intro, but I'll try to do a little screen grab so I can show you like before and after picture. But I have expanded the pan quite a bit, which I do feel really happy about. But my goal was to finish it up, and that's not happening because I am basically retiring this for the rest of the year because now I'm on to my spring bronzer. However, if I do end up finishing my spring, summer, or fall bronzer and I've got a little bit of time left, then I will pull this in again and start using it. I don't think it's going to happen for spring or summer, possibly fall though. So if I finish my fall bronzer early, I will start working on this one again and hopefully make some more progress. So again, happy with the progress that I made, but I didn't hit my goal. And I should have really thought about that. Trying to use up 4 bronzers for me is crazy, considering I take forever to use up a bronzer and I'm constantly rotating. So it was a really lofty goal for me. The next one is my spring bronzer, and this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the original bronzer shade. And just last night I repressed this and now I have a completely full pan. Now it's not to the top, it is a little bit more shallow, but I have a completely full pan, which is so sad. That is just so sad to me. But I'm really wanting to try to use this up by the end of spring. This is my spring project pan. I don't know how that's going to go. I was really surprised to see how much product I still have left, but I'm going to be hopeful, and I will insert a before and after picture of repressing. Again, like I said, I repressed this last night. Then I have my summer bronzer, which is the Milani Matte Baked Bronzer in Sunset. This is a terracotta plate, so we actually do have a lot of pan there. We just have a lot around the edges, but it is almost untouched around the edges. It does still go up pretty high, and this can be a little bit more of an orangey bronzer, so I have to be careful with it, but my goal is to use that one up as well. Then my fall bronzer is this mini Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. This is the one bronzer I feel confident about using up because I really just have a little bit left around the edges, but let me not underestimate this. We will see how I do with bronzers. I mean, I would be using them anyway, and it's so exciting just to even have pan on 4 bronzers, so any progress is progress. Then I do have one highlight. This is the Urban Decay Afterglow Highlighter in Sin. I have not used this one at all. I'm going to be putting this in my summer project pan. My goal is just to hit pan on this. Gorgeous highlight. I will be excited to use that. And lastly, for face, we have my facial mists. The first one is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, and I only showed you guys one at the intro, and my goal was to just finish that one, but I currently have 4 of these in my collection. 3 were freebies, one of them was from a set. They're all the 1 ounce travel size. I used up 1, so I have 3 left, so I decided that I am just going to put one of these in each of my seasonal project pans this year. So now my goal by the end of the year is to use up all 4. So this is where I currently am on my second bottle, and I would like to finish this up by the end of May, which is totally possible. My next facial spray would be MAC Fix Plus. Here's where I was at my intro. Here is where I am now, so not too bad. This is something that I use on the days where I do my makeup for filming, or maybe it's like the weekend, we're just going to the store or something, then I'll use this. But if it's like all day, it's a work day, I actually use a regular setting spray. So that's why I've got some progress on this. It's actually pretty good, but not crazy. I do still think it's going to take me a couple more months to use this up, because recently I've been filming on days where I am doing other stuff where I want a more like intense setting spray, but I am happy with that progress so far. The next setting spray I have is the Too Faced Peach Mist Mattifying Setting Spray. This is a 4 fluid ounce bottle. I'm not able to see through the packaging. I have no idea where I'm at, but I know I've already used this a significant amount, and this is something that is in my spring project pan. So again, I would like to finish this by the end of May, but we'll see how that goes. I just hate when I can't see progress on something because of packaging. And I did get a scale, but it's too heavy for the scale. Ugh, of course. And my last setting spray is the Ulta Beauty SPF 50 Rose Water Setting Spray. It's supposed to have a matte finish, water resistant for 80 minutes. And this is something I'm going to be using in the summer. It's a brand new unused product, so I do have the full 3.4 fluid ounces in here. Have not used that at all yet. So those are all of my face products. I know that's a lot, but it's exciting. So for brows, I do have 2 brow pencils. The first is the Anastasia Brow Definer Pencil. This was in my winter project pan. Here are all of my updates, but I did not finish it, so I've rolled this over into my spring project pan. This is all I have left, so I do believe that this will be finished up by my next update, which will be fantastic, because I'm gonna need all the time in the world to get through the second one, which is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Pencil in Universal Taupe. This is just a travel size, but you get so much product in here. This is like the never-ending brow pencil, and I haven't used it at all yet, but girl, I already know this probably will take me the whole rest of the year. So I want to get the Anastasia done so I can get focused on this one, but it drives me crazy. The last time panned, it just drove me nuts because it just takes forever to actually see any progress. So for eyeshadow, I have got 4 that I was using to set my eye primer, and then I did have 5 matte eyeshadows that I would basically use for like transition crease colors that I had certain goals on. So the first product would be the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette, and I wanted to use up peach meringue and peach butter. Just last night I did repress it, and I repressed what I had left of both of those shades together, and I put it in this pan, and I filled it up completely, which is so sad. So I will show you before and after pictures of repressing, because I did have pan on both of them, and this shade had really significant pan. There was just a little bit left around the edges, and there honestly just wasn't enough for me to repress it, but I didn't want it to all crumble away, so I did end up mixing it together, which is fine because when I apply it, I usually mix them, so it'll be fine. But now it's just like, oh, where's all my progress? But I guess I went from 2 shadows to 1 shadow. So here's what it looks like now, and again, I will show you a before and after picture of repressing. So my goal will be to use up that shade completely. Then I did have 2 shades from the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette, and both of these I just wanted to hit pan on. So the first shade is Matte Malloy. This is a gorgeous matte white. It's so amazing. I do use this every single day to set the primer under my brow, and then I use the Too Faced shades to set the primer in my crease. So after I use up the Too Faced, I will then move on to one of the shades from the Balm Meet Matte Tremone palette. That would be the shade Matte Lynn, which is a little bit darker than my skin tone, a little peachier. So I do want to hit pan on this one, but we'll see how long it takes me to use up the Too Faced shade. But again, those are colors that I just used to set my primer. So then for my other 5 shadows, they're all from Anastasia. We have got Buon Fresco, Bengal, Raw Sienna, Burnt Orange, and Birkin. Not much progress here. I don't think I've expanded the pan on this one. I haven't hit pan on these others, but I did end up repressing them. I don't think I had repressed them in my intro, so you can see what they look like now. I would like to hit pan on all of these, and I would like to finish Birkin. I'm not feeling that hopeful, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that would be fantastic. And like I said, now that I've repressed them, I would just like to hit pan on these others. Actually, I would like to finish Bengal, finish Birkin, and then hit pan on those three. That would be my new goal, and not off to a good start. Last, we have lip products, and I actually had forgotten one of my makeup use up empties. So I have the one perfume, and now I actually have 6 makeup empties so far, which is really good for only a couple of months into the year. So I am feeling happy about that. So I have 8 lip products in total. I picked a lipstick and a lip gloss for each season. So for winter, and the one I used up, that would be the Tarte Color Splash lipstick in Set Sail. It was a really pretty mauve color. This is like a basic cream finish lipstick. It does have full coverage. It is comfortable on the lips. It can be decently long wearing. I feel like it's a little bit more like a satin, so it's a nice formula. It just doesn't blow me out of the water, and I wouldn't purchase any of them. Here are my progress lines. So I was all the way up there. So I did use up a lot of lipstick, and if you guys have tried to pan lip products, some people are amazing at it, but for me it's pretty challenging. So I do feel really happy to have that used up. My gloss, however, I did not do so good. This is the Buxom Full On Lip Cream in Dolly. So here's where I was at my intro. I'm all the way down here. So I used up about half of the product, but I didn't finish it. So I am feeling really bummed about that. So it might be done for the year, or I might add it in again later. We will see what ends up happening. So then for my spring lip products, again, these are in my current spring project pan. I'll have my playlist linked up in the cards. So my lipstick is a full-size one. This is the only full-size lip product in my project. This is the Bare Minerals Gin Nude Radiant Lipstick in the shade Kitty. You get a lot of product in here. This is a very fat bullet. It actually does not, like, it's too big for my lip, so it is wearing a little bit unevenly. And let me line it on up here. So a lot of product, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this one, but it's really easy to reapply because it is a very thin, slippery formula. So that is my lipstick. The gloss I'm carrying with it is the Grande Lips Hydrating Lip Plumper in Sassy Mauve, Spicy Mauve. I can't remember which one it is. It will be down below, but this is a pretty small lip gloss. So I'm thinking that if I use this one up before my finale, then I will add back in my Buxom lip gloss in Dolly to try to get more use out of it. Let me just swatch these on the back of my hand so I can see how that would look. Okay, so here is the Grande Lips gloss, here is the Buxom gloss. Pretty. I think that they do look pretty similar actually, and that is very doable. So hopefully that will make me even more inspired and excited to work on this Grande Lips gloss, because then maybe I can make even more progress in the Buxom. So we'll see. I ain't trying to set my hopes too high, but that would be fantastic. Then for my summer lip products, I want to use up the Bare Minerals Bare Pro lipstick in the shade Petal. This is all that you have. I've never tried this formula before, but this is a really pretty wearable color for me. And then I will be topping it off with the Buxom Full On Lip Cream in Mudslide. Brand new to me. I got that Cyber Monday from Ulta. It's super beautiful. Then for my winter lip combo, I want to finish up the Charlotte Tilbury Revolution lipstick in Pillow Talk, which is so precious. And I want to top it with the Buxom Full On Lip Cream in Hot Toddy, which is a really pretty nude color. So those were my Pan 20 in 2020 products. I'm making some progress here, and I have several more months left in the year, so I don't need to start getting down on myself. I've got a lot longer before I need to start freaking out. So lastly, we have my makeup empties from January and February, and you guys will not believe it, I finished up 23 products in 2 months. Now a lot of these are deluxe sample sizes, but still, if my goal is 50 by the end of the year, I'm already almost halfway there. That's insane. I am so excited, feeling so proud. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you some quicker reviews because a lot of these things were in my winter project pan. Again, I've referenced that so many times. My playlist will be linked up in the card somewhere. So I'll try to be quick. I finished up this little deluxe sample size of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. Like I said, I don't love this, but I can never seem to pass it on because it's something I can use up. Then I have the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer. Didn't love the scent of this. It was hydrating, but like not special. Something else that I've tried recently that I really love was the Tarte Base Tape Hydrating Primer. That one I think is much better than this, so I would not repurchase that one. Then I used up this VDL Luminate Primer. Loved this. It had a nice scent, a beautiful light pinky pearl color to the skin. Really amazing glowy primer. Definitely recommend that one. Then I have got 3 little mini foundations. The first one is the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation in 1.10. I have used up a bunch of other sample size products. I didn't put it in here because that's not very fair. They were foil samples, but this is also a foil sample, but this took me actually weeks to get through because I was able to squeeze out so much, and then I did eventually cut it and squeeze out the rest. This was in my Sephora Play as a deluxe size product, which is why I'm adding it in. This is a very nice foundation. It does give a medium buildable coverage. It has more of like a natural satin finish. The shade is a little light for me, but not bad. It was a good foundation, but I'm not feeling a need to purchase it, but it is really nice. The other ones I used up would be the Tarte Face Tape Foundation in 12S Fair Sand. I do already have a full size of this. This is also a full coverage foundation. It does have more of a satin finish. Good shade match for me. Really do like this one. I like this one a little bit better than the Beauty Blender foundation, but I do find them to be pretty similar. This one might have a little bit more coverage and it's more of a satin finish, whereas the Beauty Blender is a little bit more of a natural finish, but they are quite similar. The other one I finished is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation in 12B Fair Beige. The color was terrible for me. It was too dark and it was too beige. But I did use this up completely. It took me a while because I mixed this with other foundations. This gives very light coverage. It is too oily on my oily skin. It's too dewy and it's not a good shade for me. So all around, this was not a good product for me. I did get another of these in a Sephora Play again, unfortunately, and I'm just straight on passing it on to somebody else. I do not even want to try to use it up again. No ma'am, not for me. This next thing has taken me months to use up, and it's a deluxe sample size. This is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. I almost threw this away a couple months ago because it was starting to smell, but I wasn't having any bad reaction to my skin, so I just powered through and used it up. So in here you get 2.3 grams or 0.08 ounces. It was completely full and now it is completely done. I don't understand why people love this. It is a very pale, very pink shade. I don't know how this can correct anything. For me, it was brightening, but I do have like a little bit of melasma under my eye. It didn't really do anything for that. It was brightening for my skin tone, but I honestly don't understand how this works for people that are darker than me. The second shade, the more medium color, I think has a bit more of a peach undertone, which makes sense for correcting, but this is pink. So it's a little too hydrating for me under my eyes because I have a little bit of fine lines where I can get some creasing of products, but I do have really oily under eyes. So this is not a step that I need and it's not a formula that I love. If I got another mini, I would probably use it up. I didn't mind adding it as another step to my routine, but it didn't do enough for me and I don't need something like that enough to repurchase it. Then I did use up a mini of the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. I did not like this. It darkened my concealer. This just feels like a really chalky powder and it's kind of dry. I just don't like it at all, so I would not repurchase that one. I did also use up the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in 5 Fair. This is one of the best powders ever. It's such a great price. It's a drugstore product, but I absolutely love it. This is really awesome for setting the under eyes and setting the face. I really love using this as a mixer. This is a nice fair shade. It has more of a neutral undertone, and I love mixing this with the Too Faced Born This Way and the Too Faced Peach Perfect powders because both of them are a little bit dark and can tend to oxidize. Mixing in a little bit of this makes them the perfect color for me. This is such a phenomenal formula. It gives a really good coverage, and my skin looks very flawless, very smooth. Holy grail product of mine, absolutely will repurchase it. Then I did use up 4 deluxe samples setting sprays. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter. My favorite setting spray I've tried so far. Will repurchase this one. I have several minis of this. This is one in particular that I can never let go of when I get freebies because I will use it up. Really, really good one. Then I used up the Bare Minerals Dew Mist setting spray. Absolutely not. Stay away from this one. It sprays out kind of crazy, but it has intense pink shimmer in it. It basically is like you poured a liquid highlighter in here. It was very noticeable on the skin and it looked terrible. So to use this up, I did try mixing it with other setting sprays to dilute it a little bit. Stay far away from this one. I did use up the Dermalogica Antioxidant Hydra Mist. This is just a facial mist. It is not supposed to be a setting spray. It sprayed okay. I didn't love the scent. It's not a setting spray, so I would not repurchase it. Then we have the Tarte Stay Spray setting spray. This does have a nice mist on it. I do like the way it felt on my skin. It has a sweet, almost candy-like scent. It was okay, but it's not something that I would repurchase. Out of all of those, I definitely like the Urban Decay the best. Then we've got one brow product. This is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, and I haven't used a mini in a while, but the stopper took like all the product off the wand, so I ended up taking out the stopper, which is the only way I was able to get this to work, but it made it such a big mess. It made it very gloopy and clumpy, so literally I will pull it out, try to wipe off the product on the sides, then I'll wipe it on the back of my hand, pick up a little bit of product, apply it to my brows, scoop the rest of the product and put it back in the container, which is really dirty and gross and nasty, but I'm not sharing it. Get off my jock, okay? No judging over here, but I was able to use it up, and I'm on to my next mini of this, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm applying it the same way. The full-size tube definitely works better, but the formula is the same. It's just, you know, stopper takes off too much product. But this is the best clear brow gel I've ever used. It truly is like hairspray for your brows. Holds them in place all day long. This is the clear brow gel I will continue to repurchase for the rest of my life. I don't feel a need to try anything new unless it was like a freebie or something. For eyes, I did use up my Melania eyeshadow primer. Finally, this took me forever to get through, and I've gotten several freebie eye primers, and I've really been wanting to try them out. So this is a really nice one. It is a clear primer. It does help keep my eyeshadow on my eyes all day. They won't fade, they won't crease. It did start to look a little bit dry on my lids, but it could be because, you know, this was just getting to the end and it was drying out. This is something I will repurchase in the future. I do think I like the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer a little bit better because it's a little bit smoother, a little bit more, like I said, this one's just like a little thicker, a little more dry. So I like the Urban Decay a little bit more, but I've got so many freebies that I don't need to buy one anytime soon. This is a great drugstore eye primer. Well, it's a great eye primer in general, and I do recommend it. Then I did use up my Wet n Wild Single Shadow in Brulee. This is just a, this is just a matte cream. I use this every single day to clean up the edge of my eyeshadow to help make it look a little bit more sharp. This matches my skin tone really well. It is a holy grail product of mine. Then I've got some mascaras that I finished up, and usually for deluxe size sample mascaras, I'll use them for 3 months. This year, I'm gonna just use them for 2 months. I have so many mascaras I need to try out and get through that 2 months will be just fine. So I did use a lash primer. This is the Urban Decay Subversion Thicker, Longer, Bolder Volumizing Lash Primer. Here's what it looks like. I did not love this. It might be because of the packaging. This is so tiny, I can barely hold on to it. I don't know why they packaged it like this, but the wand just wasn't that long to give you like a lot of space to get into your lashes. This does have a nice applicator, I just wish the stick was a little bit longer, the tube was a little longer. This did do a nice job as a lash primer, but I do prefer the Lancome Sills Booster, so I would not purchase this one, but if I get any more, I will use it up. But honestly, I wouldn't buy a lash primer in general. I use one every day, but I don't notice the biggest difference from it, but I'm always excited to get them as freebies. Then for my mascara combo, I was using the NARS Climax mascara. This is a natural bristle brush. It is a wet formula, but it is a little bit thicker. It's almost like a little stickier. I didn't notice anything on my lashes. I do have another of these that I will use up. Now this one was a little bit older, but I had never opened it, but it just didn't do anything for me. The other one I have used up is the Smashbox Super Fan Mascara, which is a wet formula and a plastic bristle brush. Love this one. It did a great job of separating my lashes and lengthening them. I do have one more mini and I'm really excited to use it up. I'll definitely hold on to these if I get any more of them. Great for lengthening and separating. I don't know that I love it enough to buy it in the full size because more often than not, I prefer more volumizing mascara, but this is really nice to pair with volumizing mascaras. Then we've got 4 lip balms. The first is the EOS Smooth Sphere in Sweet Mint. Love this spheres for around the house. Then I've got 2 of the Smooth Sticks in Sweet Mint. I keep these in my purse. These are fantastic. The formula in the stick and the spheres is exactly the same. I love the scent, which is surprising to me because I hate Orbit Sweet Mint gum, but this is really nice. And this is my perfect lip balm consistency because it's not too thin, it's not too thick. I'm someone that no matter what, I like to reapply my lip balm very often, and this doesn't build up, it doesn't cake, but it doesn't feel like slippery and oily. It's fantastic. Holy Grail lip balm. I did also use up the Fresh Sugar Advanced Therapy lip balm. I love getting little minis of these in Sephora Plays, but these break very easily. I've heard just the minis break, not really the full sizes, but it's a very, very expensive lip balm. It is really smooth, but it's also very thin. It can be a little bit too slippery for my liking. It has a really nice like lemony scent. Again, I love getting minis, but I would never purchase this in the full size because my EOS works just as well and it is a fraction of the price. So guys, I know this was a really long update. Hopefully you were able to sit through it. I apologize, but there are so many things I'm working on this year and I had so many empties, which I'm feeling really excited about. So I would love to know if you guys are doing a year-long project pan on your channel. Like I've mentioned in a couple other videos, the other projects I'm doing this year would be for seasonal 10 pans. I'm doing the Partners in Cream year-long project pan. I'm doing my chopping block series as well, where I'm decluttering some products. I'm doing my 365 days of samples so I can focus on my sample size, skincare and hair care products. So I've got a lot of different things going on, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm hoping I can finish up a lot of things this year. So again, I would love to know what projects you guys are doing currently. Let me know your thoughts on any of these products in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.